Hey guys, it's Broker Greg with this week's real estate update. You know, it seems that every year, right before the spring real estate market kicks off, I hear the same thing from homeowners. We just don't want to leave any money on the table. And honestly, that's exactly the right mindset. Nobody wants to sell their home and then spend the next year wondering if they could have gotten more. So what do many sellers do to try to protect themselves? They assume the safest strategy is to list their home as high as possible. And on the surface, that makes sense, but here's the catch. In today's market, that strategy can really backfire on you. Pricing matters even more now than it did during the peak years of 2022 and 2023. Buyers today have more choices and they're paying attention to everything. How long a home has been sitting on the market, whether the price has been reduced, and how it compares to the other homes they've been watching. And that's where many sellers run into trouble. So today, let's talk about a few of the biggest pricing mistakes sellers are making right now and how to think about a list price being more strategic. All right, mistake number one, treating the list price like it's your final sales price. A lot of sellers think the list price as a statement, but it's better to think of it like an invitation. The final sales price doesn't get decided until buyers view the home, compare it to other homes, decide how well it competes as their number one home of choice. And if those first three are favorable, then you submit an offer to see where each party is regarding their opinion of value. And then, and only then, do you do a final negotiation to see where each party's price lands. So the list price really just controls how many buyers walk through the door in the first place. Think about it like an invitation to a party. If the invitation feels too exclusive, then fewer people are going to show up. And when fewer buyers show up, you get fewer offers. Fewer offers means less leverage. And really the goal isn't to pick the highest number possible. The goal of any and all marketing, particularly homes, is to create the kind of positioning that attracts the most demand. Okay, mistake number two, believing price alone determines the outcome. Another common misconception is this: if the home doesn't sell, the market must be slow. And sometimes that's true, but price is only one piece of the strategy. Selling a home successfully also involves presentation, exposure, timing, buyer psychology, and negotiation strategy. Homes don't sell simply because of a number. They sell because the strategy creates urgency and confidence for buyers. Huge takeaway here. When pricing becomes a one-time guess instead of a strategic decision, sellers lose control of the outcome. Okay, mistake number three, pricing based on old comparables. Another mistake I see all the time is sellers looking at what a neighbor's home sold for last year and assuming that's the value today. But markets shift. The real story isn't just what's sold, it's also how many homes are currently for sale, how many are going under contract, and how quickly those homes are moving. If inventory is rising and buyer demand is slowing, aggressive higher pricing can hurt momentum. If inventory is tight, demand is strong, the strategy looks completely different. In other words, your home doesn't sell based on what happened 12 months ago. It sells based on what buyers are doing right now. The 2026 reality, buyers are more analytical. Today's buyers are incredibly well-informed compared to even a few years ago. The information world is at their fingertips. They can compare multiple properties instantly, track price reductions, watch days on market, and review past sales history. So when a home sits without activity, buyers often assume what? That something's wrong with it, even when there's not. And that's why homes that start out priced too high often end up selling for less than they would have if they'd been positioned correctly from day one. So I'm going to say the triple M word of today is market momentum matters. Repeat that again with me. Market momentum matters. Okay, Broker Greg, then how should sellers think about pricing? Well, I'm glad you asked that. Instead of asking how high can we list it, a better question is, what pricing strategy creates the strongest position in today's market? Generally speaking, there are three main approaches. There's what's called aspirational pricing, starting high and testing the market. This can work for rare or unique homes, but often requires adjustments. Second, there is what's called market positioned pricing, aligning with current competition to attract steady activity. And finally, There is event-based pricing. Pricing strategically to create strong early interest and encourage buyer competition from the very start. That's the right approach. And that depends on I know it always depends on your timeline, your goals, the current inventory in your area, and how strong buyer demand is in your price range. So final thoughts here for you. The best deal for a seller isn't always just the highest number. It's the offer that meets your goals while protecting your equity. That includes the price, but also the terms of the offer, the strength of the buyer, the likelihood of a smooth inspection, a clean appraisal, and a closing that actually happens. Lots of people don't believe this, but sometimes that means the best offer isn't always the highest one. For example, a homeowner needs to move quickly may prefer a slightly lower cash offer, faster closing over a higher financed offer that comes with more uncertainty. So, success isn't just about chasing the biggest number. It's about choosing the strategy that gets you the best result. And in today's market, the seller who win are the ones who approach pricing strategically from day one. If you're thinking about selling this year, it might be worth taking a few minutes to look at how your home would actually be positioned in today's market. Direct message me or call or text me at 270-784-SOLD. That's 784-7653. Take care, and we'll see you on next week's Real Estate Update.